covering Tucson and all of southern Arizona. This is K-Gun 9 on your side.
Joel Waldman live with a lowdown on.
Joel, what can you tell us?
K-Gun 9 on your sides, Joel Waldman.
Joel Waldman joins us.
Isaiah is really a remarkable little boy. We spent the last couple of months with him.
A little bit of controversy over the Blagojevich situation and the possibility that Rahm Emanuel was involved with that. Do you think that President-elect Obama is being transparent enough at this point?
This new section of border fence here in Sassabee is a far cry from the rickety fence behind it. This is extremely sturdy, more than 15 feet high. It extends more than 5 feet below ground, and it was budgeted at a cost of almost $3 million per mile. The K-9 unit also dresses up in these full body suits. They say he may be the shooter. You don't know this at this point.
I couldn't tell.
Sunday into Monday's rain was so bad, it created a 300 to 500 year flood event. Told now that there were roughly between 8 and 10 hostages. The good news, once again, no one was injured. I just won 30 bucks, never won anything in my life. Let's go see if the bride and groom get as lucky as I just did. I can't believe it. If the fire crosses both of these lines behind me, they're going to have to try to defend these properties using the old-fashioned way, fire and hose. This is really twisted. I mean, we've heard about other beauty pageant contestants gone awry. This one takes it a whole level beyond that. The incident actually happened on December 10th. It's actually the point when the lander enters the atmosphere in Mars to the time it hits the surface. It's a real testy time, hence the name 7 Minutes of Terror.
We began this morning with some breaking news.
Traffic investigators with TPD are out here trying to sort out a real mess. I'm going to step out of the way to give you a live look. We're at a pretty far perimeter here, but you can see in the distance a green Ford Focus. Now, the driver of that car is actually a pregnant woman.
Oh, my God.
Unable to make sense of a crime that took his 6-year-old friend's life, all this little boy can do is cry, while neighbors hug each other and try to piece together a puzzle that can't be solved logically.
We heard a couple of gunshots, but we thought it was more down the street that way.
A family ready for Halloween will now forever be haunted by these bullet holes. Bullets that struck Nacia Menares Leon in the face, killing her as she lay on the couch sleeping.
Awesome little girl, happy, outgoing. She was just an awesome little girl.
A little girl who didn't yet know the world could be so violent.
You know, she was a calm, quiet little girl. She was, you know, to herself all the time. She was a really sweet little girl.
People in this Southwest neighborhood also tried to keep to themselves, but they told us trouble started to find them.
There are like groups of people that just walk around here at night, late at night. They just hang around and do like drinking or whatnot.
Oh, there's a couple parties that happened down the street, fights breaking out, and it's kind of getting bad.
You're with 10 tonight. K-Gun 9 on your sides. Joel Waldman investigates our illegal birth.
Jennifer, we're number 2 in the country. Only California has a more serious situation than we do. This year, our state got more than $44 million to deal with those medical costs. But as these funds disappear, some are questioning what will happen to the healthcare system here in Arizona. This sad-looking man had no name, no family, no friends.
He was actually in a major automobile accident. He had a severe brain injury.
He had no idea who he was, neither did anyone else. So UMC gave him a name to match his face.
This gentleman is known as Adobe IF.
Adobe IF came here after a brutal rollover accident with other illegal immigrants. Just one of many similar crashes this year. All the others were treated and sent home, except Adobe IF.
It's very rare for a week, 10 days, 3 weeks to go by and no one comes forward.
But that's exactly what happened to Adobe IF. He spent 4 months here at UMC unclaimed. It's an ethical and financial conundrum for those providing the medical care. And while UMC asked for $11 million from the federal government last year, they only got $2 million. Still, nurses and doctors say it's imperative to give the best medical care possible.
Rich, poor, homeless, you know, everybody's entitled to health care, and it's incumbent on physicians to treat everyone equally.
We triage based on a medical triage system. The instance of their citizenship or whatever doesn't enter into what we do at the operational level.
A federal law dating back to 1954 requires hospitals to treat those in need no matter their background. But the same federal government has now put an end to something known as Section 1011, which reimbursed hospitals, physicians, and ambulance providers who treated illegals.
That has ended. Now we're still hopeful that it will be revived.
Bad news for taxpayers. Months of care cost us thousands and thousands of dollars. But much better news for Adobe IF. Fingerprinting by Border Patrol led to a reunion with his family back in Guatemala.
It was fabulous. He was so excited.
But little excitement for hospitals and taxpayers who have to pay the price to treat those who risk everything for a shot at a better life, just like Adobe IF. The only thing that might be able to save little Isaiah Martinez is an experimental treatment performed in Houston, Texas. And for this modest family, the $85,000 it costs is just way too much. Tonight, his family is asking for a team effort to try to save their little boy, a boy I spent the day with who has a personality as big as his heart. Isaiah Martinez loves Spider-Man. Hat, pillow, doll, it doesn't matter.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
He's even got an arm like a superhero to match. Throw it to me? Whoa! But the real catch? For those who spend time around Isaiah, they know he's the real hero.
He was the hypers one end of the bunch and running around.
That's before Isaiah was diagnosed with a rare, inoperable cancerous tumor on his brainstem.
There was nothing good. That day was a nightmare.
Isaiah's grandpa died of brain cancer the year before, so the family decided to keep the bad news away, putting it in more gentle terms most young boys can understand.
They're like little Pac-Man cells. There's good ones and bad ones. And we tell them, just keep telling the good ones to eat up the bad ones.
3 months of round after round of radiation and steroids rattled a lot of nerves.
Taking him home every night was like taking home a time bomb. It was very scary.
Nothing a little prayer couldn't diffuse.
I prayed a lot, and I still pray a lot. And I do believe he's carrying me through this because I don't know how else I would be functioning right now.
And while Isaiah has fought hard against the villains inside his body, the battle is not over. Experimental treatment, perhaps the only hope left.
Just asking for help. If anybody could just donate even $1 per person, it could help save my baby's life.
Julian Mendez looks tough with his tattoos and goatee, but behind all the ink is a man who went from convicted felon to convict's friend while the rest of our community locked them out.
When I was like 20, I really hit rock bottom. I became a drug addict, you know, being in and out in jail.
Hooked on heroin, old pictures of a blown-out back window from a gunfight and his once revered rifle remind Mendez of his violent past.
I kind of thought I was put on planet Earth to end up doing life in prison.
Until Mendez said he was reached. Now, after going straight for almost 30 years, he's reaching out to others.
He opened it up, I helped him out, and we went from there, and he gave me that third chance.
An LA Dodgers hat reminds ex-con and employee Mario Salas he almost struck out. But because of Mendez, Salas has the chance he so badly needed after serving 4 years for armed robbery.
When I talk to them on the phones and from person, they love me. But once my paperwork comes out, they're scared of me. They're like, you know what, you can't work for us. You're a threat. You're a high risk.
Same story for tattooed Elijah Gomez. He did hard time for drugs and weapons.
They don't say nothing, they just don't call you back.
Known by friends as Mr. Wimpy, this self-confessed giant teddy bear is wiping away his past, detailing cars and hoping to start a family.
I'm a worker, I'll work for them, you know what I mean? What you pay me for, I'll do for you and some. But, you know, I just don't get the opportunities.
Until now, that is. Thanks to a man who knows what it's like to be in their shoes.
They're very thankful that I gave them a chance.
I'm not going to do him wrong by, you know, messing this up.
Julian Mendez currently employs 8 ex-cons and even offered to hire Billy Joe Gary, the female ex-con we featured at 5. Mendez also counsels at-risk kids in his spare time. Joel Waldman, KGUN 9, on your side.